So we are going to get started. Hi, everybody. I am Joanne Gore. I am the President and Chief Strategist at Joanne Gore Communications. I am a B2B marketer, a published author, a speaker, a mentor, but ultimately I have one mission, and that is to help the print industry sell more print. So I am joined today by the awesome Nidhi Agrawal. Did I pronounce that right, Nidhi?
That's perfect, Joanne. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nidhi. Nidhi is the co-founder of DesignNBuy, an AI-powered web-to-print software solution. So that in and of itself taps into a lot of topics that we're going to be covering today. Really, the main reason we're meeting today was all started from an article that I wrote for What They Think. And the article was titled Web to Print in 2025, From Hesitation to Acceleration. And I reached out to a few folks in the industry for some input into that article. And I have to say, Nidhi, when you provided me your answers, I was just blown away by the depth of knowledge that you provided. No surprise, you wrote a book. So I'm going to let you talk about that in a minute. But I thought, let's take this a little bit further. Let's have a real conversation around what is driving web to print adoption. Let's talk a little bit about AI. Let's talk about what holds printers back from adopting it and why they need to let go of some of those fear and anxiety and what is driving it. So a couple of things just from the article. I'm going to read it out directly. Anybody who wants to read the article, it's available on What They Think. Please head over there. So, what was once a nice to have tool for quick business cards and postcards has become a critical infrastructure component. Web to print is now driving how printers accept, process, fulfill, and even market their print jobs. The pandemic, of course, only accelerated the shift because it forced printers to meet customers where they are, and that is at their computer, at their keyboard, behind the monitor, and in real time, and with full control over their ordering experience. Why does this matter? Because today buyers will do everything in their power to not deal with a salesperson. And I know that that's really hard to hear for a lot of folks who are used to really being in the trenches and getting in front of people. And I'm not taking that away. But the reality is people do not want to deal with a salesperson until they've done their research, they've done their homework, they've looked at all of the ratings and rankings and spoken to their peers. And then when they're ready to pull the trigger, they'll raise their hand and say, okay, now I need maybe a demo. Maybe I need to speak to somebody. For printers, it means that offering a web to print experience, an online e-commerce way for their customers to buy print online, they need to make that possible. And there's, again, many, many reasons, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to that 24/7 experience, making it possible for print buyers to buy print whenever they want, wherever they want, however they want. Whether that's business buying, where you might have your own portal and you've got admin rights, or whether it's consumer buying, where somebody wants to order invitations or banners or whatever print that they want and need to order right now, whether it's 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. So with all of that in mind, Nidhi, again, thank you so much. Let's talk about you. Tell me a little bit about you, how you even got into this crazy world of print and e-commerce and now AI. And of course, a little plug for your book won't be too bad either. So let's hear it, Nidhi.
Thank, First of all, thank you, Joanne, for inviting me for this conversation. I'm excited. So, those who know me, I'm Nidhi Agrawal, CEO of DesignNBuy. And as Joanne rightly said, I was a hardcore software engineer when I just got out of college. And nowhere in my dreams I ever imagined I would land up in this chaotic but exciting world of print. It just happened by chance that I was working on a concept. You can say when I wanted to do something really different, and I stumbled upon a call with the Warner Brothers where they were looking for a online website built on Xcart that time. I'm talking about around a period around 2007 or 2008, right? It was during one of my visits to United States. Now, during that meeting, they first brought up this topic of having a component built so that anyone who purchases their brand merchandise can personalize it with their names. And that concept somehow hit me that, okay, this is something, personalization is something which sounded exciting to my ears. And I started doing my research so that how a lightweight component can be built that can be plugged into their website. And that's how my journey with web to print. I even didn't knew it's called web to print. For me, it was just a design tool. And slowly and gradually, while doing that project, which became a really massive success that time. So that's how, and that one thing led to another. And now today, Design and Buy is in front of you, which has always tried to bring in something new, cutting edge to printers to help them stay ahead of the competition. Though web to print is like a common buzzword, but what we bring to web to print is breaking the barriers so that people think beyond and think about web to any. So it could be any substrate, any material, um, any sort of 2D or 3D personalization, and a lot of other things. So um, with Design and Buy technology, we always try to break the barriers for printers. We try to put ourselves in their shoes and think what next they might be needing, and that's only is helping us bring innovative solutions on the in the industry. That's it, Joanne.
I
Thank
love
you.
it. Thank you. And tell us a little bit about your book.
Oh, that's an interesting story. So I think COVID brought in a lot of unknowns to all of us around the world, right? And COVID was the time when we eventually got a lot of time to think a lot beyond what we were already doing. Now, during that time, everyone wanted a web shop, right? Suddenly our projects multiplied by 4 times. We were doing 4 times more projects and implementations that we were doing, but still something was bothering me, and that thing was, do people know what they're buying? Are they ready for it? Because we were seeing we were doing a lot of projects, but it wasn't easy implementation, right? Many of the implementations were not going at the pace that we wanted or the customer wanted. Some of them were really struggling, and that actually made me and Abhishek think, okay, how we can help. Can we create a kind of a playbook or probably a guide which can help them know that if they are looking forward to implementing web to print, how do they prepare themselves? Can they have a checklist sort of thing so they can say that, okay, do they have done their homework, have done the preparation? What do they know what they are signing up for? Because then only the successful implementation can come out. So while we were dealing with all from for with printers around the world, that's how the seeds of the book that we have written, which is a web to print implementation playbook or handbook, whatever you can call it, germinated. So we started working on it. After a draft or two, finally we got probably a kind of guide that definitely can help printers to prepare themselves with all the required knowledge and information. they need before they sign up or implement web to print. So yes, that book is published by McGrew Group. Pat, definitely, I would like to thank Pat for coming on the board and publishing it on a grand scale. And I'm sure people will find it helpful. So yeah, and
Oh,
it's
it
available on
wonderful
Amazon, I guess.
resource.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it is on Amazon, and it's wonderful because the article I wrote for What They Think was really around those same veins, right? What do you need to know before you dive in? One of the common, and we're going to talk about, some mistakes that folks make. One of the common mistakes that I find is, one, a lot of printers only know how to sell the way they've been sold to. So they were sold a web to print, so they're going to sell web to print. But their buyers don't know what web to print is. It's a common term in the print industry, but as somebody who wants to go online and order business cards, for example, I'm not going to think web to print. I'm going to think e-commerce. So it's really understanding and how their buyers are thinking, not how they were thinking as buyers. So you brought up some really interesting facts when you were talking about web to print being a buzzword, because yes, it is in our industry. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of printers making, not just for web to print, but in general, is selling solutions the way they've been sold, not in a way that matters to the person buying them. And I can do a whole other webinar just on that. Maybe I will. But
I agree.
but let's talk about the first question that I asked you when I was writing the article, and let's dig into that a little bit more. So that first question was, what is the most frequent objection that you hear from printers about adopting a web to print solution?
John, I think I won't say it objection, but it is an assumption that printers many times assume that change is risky, when really not changing is a bigger risk for them, right?
Yes, thank you.
So that hesitation is real, but once they see a customer placing an order at the midnight while they are asleep with zero back and forth, that's when the light bulb moment happens for them. That's what I show to them, that yeah, every change looks risky at the first sight, but focus on what it brings in to your business. So yeah, the risk of changing is the first common objection that I see, right? Apart from that, yes, I see that most of the printers um, don't have enough expertise, as you said. They know what their customers would like to buy, right? But with very little or no knowledge about the IT infrastructure, softwares, technologies, it becomes very hard for them to judge between. They are spoiled with choices. Every web to print out there has something special to offer, some unique value proposition. Now choosing the right solution becomes a lot more difficult when you don't know what you are buying for. What is your first most important objective? Are you buying it for your customers? Are you buying it for your staff? Are you buying it for yourself? Are you so when these questions are not answered in the pre-buying cycle, it becomes difficult for them to zero in on a solution. So yes, the I think the next, I won't say objection, but the most difficult thing is choosing the right web to print solution. Now, but when they chose one, I think have chosen one. Some of the common objections that I keep hearing is the high initial cost, because implementing technology is not just buying the piece of the software and probably subscribing to it. What comes next is, I guess, the bigger investment, which is training your people. First of all, your internal staff to let go of their manual processes and everything that used to be working until they adopt this solution, and get yourself acquainted with the new way of selling, first of all. then onboarding your customers who have been always ordering on phones, emails, chats, and a lot of other tools. Now, first of all, bringing that change in mindset or in your buyers is also one of the biggest, objection, that how it can be done. Yeah. And then all the cost around it, right? So the initial adoption cost is probably an objection I see. Second, most of the printers have bought software applications in all their lives. They must be using pre-flight applications, MIS, quotation applications, billing softwares, and accounting applications. The next objection is how this new piece of software going to integrate in their already existing gamut of different software applications, because nobody wants to deal with disjoint applications, right? So integration with existing applications is the next. Then I think, um, once those objections are probably resolved, the next are fear of losing control over their job specifications, right? They always keep fearing, is this software going to do the job? So until and unless that gets proven, those initial 3 to 6 months are always double work, when team is checking everything manually and over the software and making sure that the order goes through without any rework or rejections, right? Um, and I think security concerns sometimes, because people are paying online, whether payments are going through, shipments are going through, because when you automate all of these things and whenever there are customer touch points, those are really some of the important security concerns they always come with, which needs addressing. And I think sometimes it's also the timeline of implementation. They're always concerned, is it going to take a lot of time? Because everybody is always on a shoestring uh, budget and timeline, because it needs resources. Web to print is just a piece of software. It gets working when you have the people working behind the scene in implementing it. So yes, timeline of implementation is another common objection, which needs solving through a lot of hand holding in the initial phases, a lot of self-help material so that everyone can refer it at their own convenience. And um, so yes, and finally, I think again, one of the most important one is unclear ROIs. So while we are selling the software, I think no vendor can assure you a definite ROI. What should you expect in terms of returns? And that's always is an objection or concern. So I guess uh, during when we are dealing with printers, we always make sure that first of all we define returns in terms of tangible as well as intangible outcomes that they expect from implementing the web to print software, because not everything can be calculated in terms of direct revenues, right? So for helping them, we have created some awesome ROI calculators that they can use uh, to at least define on a broad level what should they expect in short term, which is 6 months to a year, and a long term, which is 5 to 10 years down the line from their web to print implementation. So yeah, those are some of the common objections I keep hearing. Mm.
That's first of all, that's a lot of objections to have to deal with. Most people would think number one objection is cost. So I find it interesting. Cost isn't the first objection, but it does, or the first assumption, but it does play into the buying decision. But I love that you have created these tools like the ROI calculators to help make the decision. Again, one of the areas where I find people who implement web to print don't, it comes back to you don't know what you don't know. And I
Yeah.
speak to a lot of printers like, yeah, we implemented a web to print, but it didn't work for us. Well, why not? Well, because nobody came to the store. Well, how did you market it? What do you mean? We're supposed to market it? So right away, it's like, that's part of it. Like, just because it's there, it doesn't mean people know you're there. You have to invest in, even whether it's B2B or B2C, you still have to share that story and share the value to your customers as to why you've invested in it, and more importantly, how it's going to benefit them. And you hit the nail on the head with ROI. I ask all the time, what does success look like to you? How are you going to decide if this implementation, if this piece of software has added value to your business? Usually when you start asking those questions is when you can sort of peel the layers of that onion and come to those conclusions that, oh yeah, we need marketing. Yeah, we need to promote it. Yeah, we need to make sure that not just our customers, but new customers know that we even have this solution and why it matters to them. So all amazing points that you bring up. Thank you. All right, question number 2.
Yes.
How should
Go for it.
printers prepare their businesses for a web to print implementation? What are
Okay.
some of the
That's
things
very
I was just going to say before you go, one of the things that we've noticed working with companies is, and I know you're going to touch on it, pricing, shipping, banking integrations, that security that you talked about. These are things that you don't even know that you need to think about until you're in the middle of an implementation, and you're like, okay, what shipping are you going to use, like
provided.
ShipStation or ShipLogic, or which one are you going to use? And it's like, I don't know. So tell us some of those like gotchas. How can a printer prepare so that they're not caught off guard by some of the decisions that are inherent with implementing a web to print solution?
Okay. I love this question, Joanne, because our book is all about it, that how should printer prepare themselves for implementing a web to print solution, or rather, I would say any business application. That formula applies to implementing any application into your business. I think the most important thing which I keep saying is define your business objective first. As I earlier said, clarify what you want to achieve. Do you want to reduce your order processing time? Are you implementing for offering 24 by 7 ordering, or to increase personalization options for your customers? So the first step is defining your business objective, because then only you can find a web to print that conforms to what your business objectives are. Because as I said, there are lots and lots of web to print solutions available there, and I love all of them and most of them, because everyone brings in something unique, and a lot of value proposition. However, not every solution is cut out for every printer. It differs from printer to printer. So defining the business objective is the very first important step. And then once that is done, identify the right people in your team who are going to be part of this implementation. That is another important step many printers forget. They think they'll go pay for the web to print solution, whether they are using it as a subscription or on premise in implementation, and then they think that the software will work on its own. I wouldn't mind saying that a lot of the web to print implementations that we did during COVID time couldn't succeed, not because it didn't meant to be, because they didn't have the people inside the team with the right skill set to implement it, right? So, in my opinion, the very next step is identify the KPIs, right, for your team. For example, What will be the time saved per order if we implement this? What will be the order volume growth? How much manual touch points will be reduced, and preparing your team so that they can come on board, learn, and meet all of these KPIs, right? Um, then identify your target users, roll it out first to a definite set of customers whom you have been working with around the years. Those who are those who are ready to participate in the trial run, and um, get their feedback, do improvisations if needed, and then finally go for the full rollout, right? Um, I think then another important part, as you said, uh, comes is then planning your workflows and integrations, right? So once you have bought in this business application, I would say it's not just one part, as you said. Web to print starts from the e-commerce at the front end, right? Or probably a storefront or something from where people are going to go online and send the orders to you, right? But then at the back, there are a lot of things that needs in order for orders to reach out to you, right? How they are going to check out, are they going to prepay using credit cards, or it's a post payment? If it's prepaid job, you have to get your payment gateways right so that people find it easy to pay, right? Um, uh, while the orders are arriving and you want to remove all the manual processes, are you going to have a pre-flight in place so that orders are the file checks are automated so that your team don't have to go through it, and at the end, when order hits your directory, it's already a proofread artwork file that can go to the production, right? Um, and then, as you correctly said, once order is ready, what shipping integrations you have so that it can be quickly picked up. A lot of workflow automations can be planned so that we can reduce as many human touch points in this process of automation, right? So defining and planning the workflow and integrations is a very important stage. Now, once that is done, I think another important step which people usually or printers usually take granted for is the content. As you rightly said, you have done everything, you have built a very good website, but if you haven't put a content that is search engine friendly, or now probably chat GPT friendly, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
opening the doors to your shop but not letting people know that you have opened up, right? And it becomes hard to find you. So it's like preparing the right content strategy for your website. What products are you going to launch? What the pricing would be? Is the online pricing exciting enough for customers to go come there, do the self service of personalizing and putting it online rather than picking up the call and asking you to place the order online, right? So their content strategy, pricing strategy, and marketing strategy is definitely, I would say, would then top the charts of objectives of or steps of implementing web to print, right? Uh, so once all that is done, I think the very next stage is to, as I said, train internal staff, train your customers, make it easy for them, everyone, both the sites, internal staff and clients, to adopt this system, do workshops, video trainings, and all of that, so that they can quickly learn different ways of placing the order online on your website. Next comes launching and promotions. So that's your expertise area, Joanne. And I'm glad we did those marketing and digital marketing workshops with you. Our customers love those, right?
Thank
They
you.
they're always relevant. They're still relevant, and all of the new customers that we are onboarding, they always find those workshop tutorials and videos by you very helpful, right? Um, and once those steps are done, I think then what it needs is constant monitoring, optimization, obviously, because Not everything can be done right at the first stage, right? You always learn from the feedbacks of your customers, feedback of your internal staff. I always recommend our customers that for first 3 to 6 months, keep collecting feedbacks from anyone who is using the solution so that you know where is the optimization needed or what all new features you may need to help your customers or internal staff with the next level of efficiency. Yeah. So that's
Wow, you
in,
touched on so many great points, Nidhi. One thing that stuck out to me was the whole concept around integration. Um, some of you may or may not know that formerly was a marketing director for an MIS software company. So a lot of what you're saying applies. Knowing where the workflows are, knowing where the breaks are, where those challenges are. I guess the biggest difference is that starting point. Whether you're on an e-commerce journey versus a just a workflow journey. But what you want to ensure is that everything talks to everything else. So when you are looking for a solution, you should also be considering what does it need to integrate with? What systems do I already have in my shop? I'm not going to give up my MIS. I'm not going to give up my my finance software if it's not part of the MIS. And I know some have it sort of all in one. So it's really important to ensure that the integration is possible and easy, that you're not going to have to bend over backwards to get these two solutions to talk to each other, that you have this sort of back and forth bi-directional flow of information, both in and out, to your CRM, to your workflow, to your finance and account, everything, front office, back office, production, all of it needs to be talking to each other. So yeah, that plus everything that there's a lot to consider. But now let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is AI. And
yeah.
everybody's talking about AI. And I'm sure everyone's thinking, well, I'm sure, can't AI do this for me? Can't AI help? So I think the short answer is yes. But the longer answer is the question to you, how is AI shaping web to print technology and solutions? What role is it playing both within the software? And you teased it a little bit when you talked about how you design things and ensuring that, if you're, that if it goes over a seam or if it's bleeding, that it's cropped properly, that what you have in your brain is actually what ends up being printed and that you receive in that physical product. What is AI's role, and how has it changed in the last 12 short months?
So, AI in web to print, it's like giving your print shop a caffeine shot and a crystal ball,
Oh,
right?
I love that. I love that.
So, we know that AI can do a lot if implemented in right way, right? So you have to think about it. What is it that you want to um, automate, or what is it that you want to transfer to AI to do instead of the humans in your probably company, right? And that's where you get to learn, okay? Because if you want to implement AI to help your customers, I think the most important role that AI plays in personalization. So it's like generating content on the go, giving you images, text, paragraph. So now you can use um, open standard APIs or some of very popular AIs to help your customers prepare artwork easily with the help of AI. So you no more have to look for and search for the right kind of images or contents or slogans, text. If there is AI in your artwork editing tool, it makes the creating artwork a lot easier, right?
So are
However,
you
if you
saying
talk
that
about,
if somebody wants to, sorry, are you saying that if somebody wants to create a booklet or a
yes,
brochure, And
Yeah.
they could actually use your software with the AI in the software and have it create the words. So, and then they just have to go in and, hopefully play with it a little bit to make it their voice. But that's possible today where you don't even have to have it. You just need to say, I want a flyer and here's who I'm targeting and here's what I want it to be about. Go and it'll do it.
Yeah, because I'll give you an
That's
example. I tried
crazy.
it. So I was talking to a customer and who said they always get on calls where people just want last minute banners for, let's say, birthday party or get together, and how if it's not AI, it would take a lot of time to ask so many questions. What colors would they like to be in? What sort of font they want to put in? It's going to be funny, casual, business. Then what sort of background image they would like, all of that. Now, rather than your sales rep asking this question to customers, you're giving an AI enabled tool to your customers and saying, you just type in, I want a birthday banner with balloons in the background. It should be, let's say, pink in the color, with ribbons flying all over. You give this prompt, AI generates the image, you put it there, then you say a nice happy birthday message. It gives you options. You choose one that you want, quick, 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 and your artwork is ready. And and I guess then it goes to a
That's
pre-flight
crazy.
check and to the printing. That's what. And that's when the next step comes. This was AI in personalization. Now imagine what AI can do in production, let's say. So with some well-defined agentic workflows in your production process. Um, your AI agents can pick up every job and do every step of automation that you want to get rid of from the manual processing. So let's say if it is picking up orders from multiple channels. So if your customers are still ordering by uploading the artwork on a dedicated drive or in hot folder or via emails or some other channels and e-commerce, and you have an workflow, agentic workflow defined, and that agent has the job of picking up orders from all these different channels, but then converting into a uniform um, uh, order file, or ordering mechanism to push it to the next stage. Can do that job beautifully, right? So that's what you can think of on the production end. And uh, then it learns, AI can learn from your customers. The next step is then thinking ahead. For example, imagine a system that knows, let's say Bob, who is one of your customers, or from marketing, he always orders blue flyers with rounded corners. Now, so next time before he even clicks, all the options that he gets are in blue with rounded corners, and he can just click and order it. So that means you can cut off on the time when people take from browsing, add to cart, paying, and checkout, all done in few clicks.
That's
So yes,
crazy.
I can talk about it for hours, but I won't keep it
Me
long. But
too.
yes,
I imagine
yeah,
it could also help upsell as well. So sort of the whole, do you want fries with that? Somebody's ordering a
yeah,
banner. Well, do you need a tablecloth? Do you need
yes,
signs? Do you need handouts? Do you need business
yes,
cards? So it could act as that salesperson to grow that share of wallet, grow the value of the sale. And of course, hopefully, to your point, encourage repeat business because most printers, the first sale is great, but it's the repeat business that really impacts that bottom line. So I have to believe that this is truly a game changer. So as we're coming to the top of the hour here, so I'm going to ask you question number 4. What do you see as the future of web to print. What exciting, AI, as we said, we can talk about this forever, but where are you seeing changes or what's next for web to print?
Okay. So, John, I truly believe that um, all of these technology changes are turning web to print into a mind reading, design polishing, and customer pleasing superheroes. You can do a lot with a
I
lot
love it.
of these, right? Um, so, in my opinion, I think I've always been saying that I don't see web to print systems as web to print system. I believe they are web to any systems, right? Uh, so, I think in future we can look at hyper personalization, right? So as I quoted the example, people when they log in on a storefront, probably all the products that they may need or have been repeatedly ordered would already be designed in the way they like it. So based on their previous color choices, based on their previous font choices and images and all of that. So hyper personalization is one thing I think which looks futuristic. Obviously, smart printing, right? Um, so how these agentic workflows can bring in more profitability to businesses, probably um, by deciding which job should go first, if it is a rush order, or in what order the job should be processed to minimize the ink wastage, paper wastage, and a lot of other things, as I said, right? Um, then ability to have global storefronts and still doing or producing locally, so that integrating all of your channels so that you can expand your business globally, uh, create your own vendor networks and produce locally. But yes, grow. I would say grow globally and produce locally. That's I think is uh, um,
I like
the
that.
future of web to
That's
print,
so
right?
timely right now. Grow
Yeah, yeah.
globally, produce locally. I love that. That's amazing.
And then I think more modular and API driven ecosystem, as we have discussed, that integrations are at the core. So more and more system evolving as API driven systems so that people can choose the best they want, right? Nobody likes monolithic systems where they just like a part of it and everything else comes as an baggage. No, I think web to print systems are seeing breaking those barriers where you can adopt only as much as you like in the system and bring in the third party systems and create an ecosystem that matches your budgets, timelines, skill set, priorities, objectives, right? So yeah, that's in my
Wow.
opinion is futuristic.
That's I love it. That's brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. So, final thoughts. Um, I jotted a few down. I had some before the call. Now I've added to it. So, first and foremost, web to print solutions, e-commerce solutions, web to anything solutions,
Yeah,
um, help you rethink how you attract, engage, and serve your customers. So that means first and foremost, figuring out what's your why. Why are you
yeah,
doing this? Where, how will you measure ROI? So really understanding the why behind the what, and then figuring out how to tell your story so that you can indeed generate more business. And that means really truly understanding who you help today, as well as who you want to help, how you can help them, and ultimately why it matters, why this solution is going to change for the better the way your customers and prospects order and buy print from you. Um, Choosing a flexible, scalable platform that fits your business, marketing your storefront like a product, not a tool,
yeah,
training your team and your customers, not just once, but continuously, tracking results and iterating as you go. It's not a one and done. You're constantly going to learn. You're going to make mistakes. That's how we learn. And I loved what you said around web to print is really a mind reading, design polishing superhero. I absolutely love that. Nidhi, how can folks get in touch with you if they want to learn more about you, about DesignNBuy? We know your book is available on Amazon, but tell us how folks can get in touch with you.
Okay, it's easy. I love talking to people, meeting people, and I'm visiting lots of shows. But yeah, anyone can find me on LinkedIn, right? And then maybe they can write to me directly. It's easy, Nidhi at DesignNBuy.com. They can just go on our website www.designandbuy.com and get in touch with one of the sales reps, and so that's easy. I'm easily available. As I said, I love to talk, share my knowledge, and always believe that you learn more when you share, right? So I learned a lot today from
Absolutely.
you, John, from whatever we have discussed, and I'm going to take it back to my team and say, okay, this is what next we need to do. So yes.
Oh, I love it. Again, we can talk for forever, and I look forward to doing more sessions like this. Again, this session was inspired by an article in What They Think, Web to Print in 2025, From Hesitation to Acceleration. I encourage everybody to check it out. It's got an article, it's got some checklists, it's got a bit of a cheat sheet. So it's chock full of ideas and just touches on just a little bit of what we covered today. Again, of course, JoanneGoreCommunications.com. Please follow me on LinkedIn. I'm on a mission to get to 10,000 followers, and I'm slowly creeping my way up there. So please follow me. My LinkedIn is Joanne Gore 121. You can find me on LinkedIn, and of course, follow Joanne Gore Communications. Nidhi, this has been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to connecting with you and giving you a big hug live one of these days at one of the on the show floor, hopefully. And until we meet again, thank you everybody for tuning in and learning a little bit more about web to print.
Thank you, Joanne. I loved the session thoroughly and looking forward to more such chats in the future. Wish you a great day ahead and lots of success to Joanne Gore Communications. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nidhi.
Thank you. Goodbye.